Today's video, we've got 3 different trims. We're going to start out with a white line defect that I need to fix, and then we've got a couple feet with some rocks jammed in them, so we got to get those cleaned up too. Hopefully I don't put you to sleep like this nice girl here. All right, first up, we've got a cow with a white line lesion, so we're going to get this trimmed up and uncover this lesion right now. At this point, I already know this cow's going to need a block, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be working up the outside edges of this hoof to just to get them nice and clean, so that the glue from that block adheres really well. I'm not trying to remove a lot of horn here. I'm just trying to get it cleaned off, and so my glue will stick nicely. From this angle here, you're going to see the crack, which is going to lead to that white line lesion. And this crack, as I remove that outside horn there, is going to work up a little ways. So I'm going to do some knife work there and uncover that lesion. On this other claw, there's a little bit of hemorrhaging that you can see. Now, I know that this isn't active because when I push on it, it's a nice hard horn there. It's got some imperfection in it from that hemorrhaging in the past, but I'm not concerned with that. I'm still going to be able to apply a block without any problem to this foot. Because this claw really isn't inflamed, I'm able to use my grinder to remove some of this outside wall horn. And the reason I do that is because that outside wall is really hard to cut with a knife and do a precise job without taking too much off. So what I want to do is just take a little bit off with the grinder, and then I can work with my knife and take little pieces off much more accurately. Because this lesion's on the outside wall of the hoof on this claw, I can apply a block to the other side right now and not have to worry about that block interfering with my knife work. So that's why I do that. Sometimes you'll see that I wait till the end, and that's because I don't want that block in my way when I'm trying to work the knife in certain areas. So in this case, it's not going to be in my way at all. So I'm going to put that block on now and let that glue cure while I work. This can kind of be a tricky area to work because we've got horn that's running vertically with that wall horn, and then we've got the solar horn that runs horizontal to that. So we've got a border there, and sometimes you got to try to work one edge and get that hoof to come clean while not interfering with that other edge right where that junction happens. And so you got to take your time with this, take little bits and use that hook at the end of that knife to just gently pull that hoof toward you as you cut, so you're not digging down into that next layer. Luckily for this girl, this lesion hasn't advanced very far. It's just a small perforation in that white line. So just finish up, get the rest of this loose horn, give it a good spray with chlorhexidine to kill any bacteria around there, and we're going to put this foot down without a wrap. From this angle, you can get a good look at the relief that that block gives, elevating that injured claw off the ground and letting it rest and giving it time to heal. The next foot we're going to look at is the left rear on this same cow. Now, whenever I trim, or in these videos you watch me trim, I don't always show me trimming all 4 feet, but I do trim all 4 feet on every cow, and this is the reason why. This foot is really in good shape. Not a lot of growth to take off there, but had I not picked that up, you could see there was a obvious problem that with that rock there that was only going to lead to more issues. So that's why I always pick up all 4 feet, even if there's not a lot of trimming to be done, just to make sure that there's nothing going on in that foot, since I have her in the chute anyway. You notice on this inside claw here, I don't do a lot of trimming to it. And that's important because just to recognize that when we trim cows, we're looking for an end result, and that is to balance these 2 claws. So I'm not going to continue to remove anything on this claw because I don't need to. Basically, all I want to do is balance those 2 claws, those soles, to make sure that they're even across both soles. That way those bones inside the foot line up. So I don't need to trim any more off of that inside claw. It's right where I want it to be. Luckily, that stone didn't do any damage, so we're going to move on to this left front foot of this next cow with an even bigger rock stuck in it. Whenever I see a rock like that stuck in a cow's foot, I can't help but think how frustrating it must be to have something stuck in your foot that you have no way of getting out. Not only do rocks cause problems for cows' feet, but they are really hard on my carbides and my cutting wheel and my grinder. So that's why, if you ever notice me, when I first pick up a foot, I kind of scratch away at it and check any of these holes. It's to make sure that there's not a rock hidden in underneath some of these layers or sticking out of there that I might hit with my grinder, because that instantly dulls those blades and then I have to replace them. They're not knives either. After a day of working on sand-bedded cows, I have to put a lot more time on my knife sharpening. This particular rock didn't do any damage to the corium underneath, but you can see the erosion that was taking place from that stone being in there and grinding away at that horn underneath there, that dark spot. So it was doing damage to the hoof, but not to the interior structure. So luckily we got that out of there when we did, and now we're able to trim this foot up and she'll be good as new. If you've ever wondered what those green things are at the top of the foot there, what those are some used wrap rolls, and I crush them down and I use those to firm up the foot a little bit. And the reason I do that, there's an adjustment I can make on that clamp to tighten it down for some of the cows with smaller ankles, but that takes a lot of time, and over time that adjustment doesn't work right. And then if I have a cow with a bigger ankle, then it doesn't fit her. So what I do is I set it for some of my bigger cows, and foot that's a little bit loose, I'll use those to firm the foot up without having to make adjustments to the actual clamp itself. All right, that's going to do it